Welcome to Going Green with OneNote. This is part 2 in the two-part video tutorial series on using OneNote Notebook. This was a hands-on presentation first presented by Campbell County Schools Instructional Technology Department at the June 2016 Teacher Learning Academy. If you have any questions after viewing this tutorial, please contact your building's instructional technology specialist. To recap what we covered in part 1 of this tutorial series, we discussed what OneNote is and shared ideas for how teachers might use their own personal OneNote notebook to make their jobs easier. We demonstrated how to access and open a OneNote notebook online and how to open it in the local version of OneNote, assuming that it has been installed on your computer. We also walked you through the steps for installing the OneNote Toolkit for Teachers Notebook Guide. And we also demonstrated how to create a new OneNote notebook. Prior to following along with me on this tutorial, you will want to make sure you have followed the directions that were emailed to you by your instructional technology specialist before you attended the Teacher Learning Academy's Going Green session. These directions specifically explained how to uninstall your current version of Microsoft Office and how to install Office 365. If you did not attend the Teacher Learning Academy, but you would like to learn more about OneNote, feel free to continue watching this tutorial and contact your instructional technology specialist for further assistance with establishing your Campbell County's Office 365 account. In this video tutorial, we will explore select features and options for the bookshelf, notebooks, section tabs, pages, select ribbon commands within the Home tab, the Draw tab, the Insert tab, the Review tab, the View tab, and the Print to OneNote feature. Let's go ahead and get started. Assuming you have already installed Office 365 on your computer by following the directions we sent you, and assuming you followed with me in part 1, you can join me now by opening your local version of OneNote. You can do this several ways. If you are a Windows 7 user, you will start by going down to the Windows Start button. I'm a Windows 10, but the Start button for Windows 7 is also located in this area here, to the far left of your taskbar. When you click on that, you will see a field box that appears and it says Search Windows and Files. In this field, you want to type the word OneNote 2016. When you do, the program name should appear if you have installed the software, and then you would click on the program name to open it. For Windows 10 users, and that's what I'm using, you would come down to the Start icon in the lower left corner, click on it, and then a field box appears that says I'm Cortana, ask me anything. I'm going to click in this field and start typing the word OneNote 2016. If you have installed it on your laptop or computer, it will appear in the list and you'll click to open it. This is the local version of OneNote that you're opening. Let's take a look. When we left off in the first tutorial, I had shown you how to pin your bookshelf. In case that has come unpinned, you can click up here in the top left and you see the push pin. It's not pinned now. If I click the down arrow, I'll come over and click the push pin, and now I have pinned my bookshelf on the left hand side. The bookshelf is just like a bookshelf you might have behind your desk, only this is digital. Some of the things you can do with your notebooks once you have them on your bookshelf is you can move them around. So I might want to have my default notebook listed first. The OneNote Toolkit, which was the help guide that I showed you how to install, I'm going to drag this down, click and drag it to the bottom. That's one of the things you can do with your bookshelf, is move your notebooks around. You also have a notebook menu that's available to you with several options. If you right click on the name of a notebook, then the notebook menu will appear. Syncing is an option, sync this notebook now, but remember, as long as you have an internet connection, this should sync automatically for you. If you want to check your notebook sync status, you can do so here. If you decide you want to share this notebook with a colleague, you can click Share this notebook and then type in the email address for the colleague you want to share your notebook with. You can come down to Properties, and in the Properties field, if you click here, it lets you change the default color that was assigned to your notebook. That's great news for teachers. I don't want the green. I'm going to click and I'm going to make it blue. And then OK. And you'll notice that the color of my notebook changed. If I right click on the name of a notebook to see the menu again, underneath Properties is Close this notebook option. I'm going to click to close my OneNote toolkit for teachers. This does not mean that I'm deleting it. I'm just taking it off of the bookshelf, because remember, you can create as many notebooks as you want, and then you might have colleagues that share their notebooks with you. So this bookshelf could get pretty crowded. So if you wanted to keep the notebooks on your shelf that you use most often, you just right click and close this notebook. To find that notebook again and bring it back to your bookshelf, you'd go to File, Open, and you would see it in your list here. I'll click, and now my OneNote toolkit is back on my bookshelf. Now let's take a minute. I want you, if you're following along with me, to click on the notebook that has your name at work. Across the top, you see what we call section tabs. The section tabs let you separate your notebook into sections. They're located across the top, but if you come over here to click the caret next to the notebook title, this expands your notebook, and you will see that the same section tabs that appear across the top also appear on the left. Some of the things that you can do with your section tabs is you can add more by clicking on the plus sign and giving your section a name. You can move your tabs around. If I want my to-do tab to be first, I can do that. You can right click and change the section color. Right click to get the menu again. You can rename it. You can delete the section altogether. So I'm going to go to my Field Trips tab and delete this section. Okay, I will click Delete. Some other things that you can do is you can copy this entire section to another notebook. So if you've taken the time to create a section in one of your notebooks and you decide you want to revamp your organizational system, but you don't want to have to redo this section along with all of the pages you created in it, you can copy or move a section and its pages to another notebook in just a few simple clicks. You would do that by clicking Move or Copy. I'm going to just pick a notebook. We'll pick my 2016-17, and I want to copy the faculty meeting section to that notebook. Now when I click on my 2016-17, I see that the faculty meeting section carried over, as well as the pages in it. So that's one of the things that you can do with the section tabs. The next thing we want to take a look at are the pages. The pages contain the content for each section. So I'm in my faculty meetings section. Okay, for each faculty meeting I might want to create a page, give it the title for the date, and then I could start typing my faculty minutes in this section on this page. Okay, so the page contains the content. Now there's several things that you can do once you have a page created. I'm going to right click and I can rename my page. I can delete the page. Just like you did with the sections, you could move or copy a page to another section. Let's come up here to my August 10th faculty meeting minutes. I can right click and move or copy and say let's put those meeting minutes, let's come down to my 2015-16 notebook and copy it here. Let me go to this notebook, click on my meetings section, and you will see that August 10th, this is the one where I just carried it over. So that's one of the things that you can do with your pages. Another thing you can do, if you right click, you can make a page a subpage underneath one. So if this happened to be, I'm going to rename it, we'll call it Carnival Ideas. I could make these pages underneath it, if they're all related to Carnival Ideas, I can make them subpages for Carnival Ideas. So you can make a page a subpage. Let's take a look now at the ribbon. When your notebook was first created, your ribbon came in probably looking like this. I'm going to come over here, and on the far right part of my screen you'll see an icon at the top, and if you hover over this icon you see ribbon display options. I want to have my ribbon show the tabs and the commands under the tabs, so I'm going to click here, and I suggest you do the same. This is nice because as you're getting to know OneNote, you can see which commands fall underneath your tabs. So that's the best way to view the ribbon as you're learning OneNote. Let's take a look at just some of the tabs within the ribbon. I'm going to click on the Home tab. Now the Home tab looks very similar to Microsoft Word's ribbon. I do want to point out the tags features, because the tags features allow you to tag your text with things that you might want to remember later. If you're taking notes and you have a question about something, you can click the question, and wherever your cursor is, it'll tag it to help you remember that you wanted to ask a question about this. Or if your principal says that the grade level needs to be sure to follow up with parents on the field trip, you could click the To Do tab. If something is critical, let's say it's critical that we remember this student needs the testing accommodations, you can also create your own custom tags. Now the tags by themselves not very helpful, but when you use the Find Tags features, then it really maximizes the benefits of using tags, because you can click here on Find Tags, and as you might imagine, you're working within several notebooks possibly during your day. Well, at the end of the day, when you need to see a list of what you have to remember to do, or a list of all of the questions that you need to be sure to ask, you can go to the Find Tags, tell it to group the tags by tag name, come down here and tell OneNote where to search for those tags. You can search all of your notebooks if you're in and out of a lot of notebooks during the day, or if this is the only notebook you're using, then you can say just search this section, or just search today's notes. And then once you do that, you want to tell OneNote to create a summary page, and then the summary page will list for you all of the tags from that section. I'll show you another example of a summary page. I named it Tags Summary Page after it did the search, and then I moved the tags into the order that I found most beneficial. Like I like my to-dos to be first. Now realistically speaking, if you search for tags, it wouldn't be this long of a list. Okay, but that's the Find Tags features. And while we're looking at searching, I want to draw your attention to the search field over here above Pages. You can search OneNote for a term. Let's just say I want to search the word for, we'll say meeting. Right now it has searched all of my notebooks, but I can click right here and say, no, I want you just to search this notebook for the word meeting. And then everywhere that word meeting appears, it's going to come up here. And then I can click on and say, okay, that's where I was. And it brought me to the tab. or it would bring me to a page with text on it if I had the word meeting in it. So you want to make use of the search feature. Let's take a look at the draw command on my ribbon. We have several different features here for drawing. I'm going to create a new page. You can pick a pen color. Come over here for color and thickness and change the pen color if you want. Make it thick. Say OK. And then you can write with your mouse or with your finger if you have a touch screen. And I'm using a mouse. Another thing that you can use is the highlighter, and you can use this on a page that you're annotating on, or if you insert a document, which I'll show you later, you can annotate and use the highlighter and pen features on a page that you've inserted, a PDF or a Word document, whatever. Once you've used a draw tool, it's important that you remember to come over and click Type. This brings back your cursor and selector tool. Once I click on that, I can click anywhere on my page and create a text box. I want to leave this command and go to the Insert tab or command. This is a really nice feature in OneNote. If you've been writing notes in a notebook and you want to add something back at the beginning of your notes, you can't create additional space on a page in a notebook. With OneNote you can by using the Insert Space feature. I'm going to click on Insert Space, and then I can create space across the top, and you see how it moved it down. If I wanted to shift this over to the right, I would click here. Okay, now once I've got that lined up, now I've added space over here, so I could give myself a margin where I wanted to type a note. Okay, that's the Insert feature. Still on the Insert command, let's look at the File Printout and File Attachments. You can insert a printout, a PDF, a Word document. So let's click on File Attachment. I want to insert the handbook in my OneNote. I'm going to tell it to insert the printout. It inserted the printout, but it also inserted the attachment at the top. So that's why I usually go with File Attachment and Printout. One thing you'll notice when it inserted this 20-page document or PDF, it created a separate page for each page of my document. So if I wanted to go to page 14, I'd have to click here. I don't like that view. I like to be able to have one page inserted and then scroll all the way down and scroll my way through to page 20. This is a default setting in OneNote. I'm going to show you now how you can change this. Before I do, let me show you how I can delete something that I've inserted or delete several pages at once. I'm clicking on the first page. I'm going to come down to the last page and hold my Shift key and click. These are all highlighted, and I'll right click and pick Delete, and it will delete all of those pages at once. I'm going to add a new page. Now let's change that default setting by going to File, Options, Advanced, scroll down to Printouts, and by default it's checked to insert long printouts on multiple pages. I'm going to uncheck that box and click OK. Now I'm on the Insert command, click File Attachment, CCS Handbook, or just go to wherever you've got the document stored and then tell it to insert. I want to insert it as a printout because printouts by default also add the attached file. Now you'll see here's the attachment. If I wanted to double click and download it, but you'll notice that this document came in on one page in OneNote, and I scroll down through all 20 pages this way. Now, since we've already looked at the draw feature, I want to show you how you can annotate over top of a PDF or a Word document. Let's go to my Draw tab. I'm going to click on a pen. I can circle what's important. I can highlight for students what they need to be sure to know and memorize. Remember, after you use the annotations, you need to click the Type and the arrow selector. Now, if I click on this document that I've inserted, you'll notice that it becomes selected and you've got the box handles all around it. If I accidentally shift this forward or anywhere around, you'll notice that what I highlighted and circled, it's different now. So in order to keep your annotations on top of what you want it to be, you need to anchor the document to the background. You do this after you insert it by right-clicking on the document and clicking on Set Picture as Background. Now, if you don't want to remember to do this each and every time you insert a printout, you can go in and change the default settings. Let's do that right now. Go to File, Options, Advanced. Scroll down to Printouts and check the box that says Automatically Set Inserted File Printouts in the background and click OK. And now you don't need to remember to do that each time. Another insert feature, let's go back to the Insert tab. Another insert feature that I want to show you is how you can insert screen clippings. This is a great feature in OneNote. Before you use a screen clipping, you want to make sure that your desktop has on it what it is you want to get a screen clipping of. Okay, mine is set, so I'm going to click on Screen Clipping. Alright, and now it wants me to select the area that I want to clip and add to OneNote. It's inserted this into the page that I created for it, and it named it Screen Clipping Taken. You want to anchor this screen clipping to the background so it doesn't move around. But I'm going to right click, Set Picture as Background. Now I can have my students come up and use the Draw tool, and I'll use the red pen, circle Virginia. In blue, circle Spain. You could have them draw a pathway that might be traveled to go from South Carolina to Italy. Lots of different things that you can do with that. So that's a screen clipping. Before I leave this, I'm on an annotation tool. I want to make sure I click my Type to select objects or type. I'm going to go back to Insert. I can also insert pictures. I'm going to go to a new page. I want to click Pictures, and I've got one saved on my desktop. I'm going to click on it and insert. I can click and then resize it. This is an object I've inserted, so if I right click, set the picture as the background, and then I could go to Draw, select a pen, and circle, draw arrows, do whatever I want to annotate. Anytime you insert any content from a web page, OneNote will automatically put the source. So if you needed to get back to a website where you got some content from, you could easily do so. I want to insert a video. I want to be able to easily get back to this video. So I could highlight the area, right click and copy, come to OneNote. I could also do the screen clipping, but I'm going to paste. Okay, and if I click on this link, it's going to take me back to where the video is, so I can quickly get to the content. And this is true for any content that you select and copy and then paste into OneNote. It gives you that source so you can get back to it easily. I'm going back to the Insert tab. You can insert audio. You could record video of yourself giving directions to your students if you wanted. Quickly, I want to show you page templates. You can select a template for your page. It could be just for one page, or if you wanted this to be the template that you used for every page you create in the demo section, you could come down here and tell it to make it your default. Very quickly, I will show you the Review tab. Okay, you can click here for spelling, thesaurus, language help. The View tab, if you wanted to take a page, let's go to the faculty meeting page where I have some content. You could change the color of this page. You could add ruled lines very quickly. If you're doing math and you want to have a grid, you could very quickly change this to grid paper. That's under the View tab. Now the last thing I want to show you in OneNote is the Print to OneNote feature. I can have OneNote closed out or open, it doesn't matter. I can open up a document. This is a PDF. And if I wanted to add this PDF to my OneNote so I could get to it quickly, I don't want to print it out, I can come up here to File and Print. And under the printer name, yours probably has a printer in your building selected. But right here you would just change it from your printer name to Send to OneNote 16 and click OK. And OneNote is not open, but it's going to open in just a minute, and you'll see how it's blinking down here. If I click, it wants me to tell it where do you want to put that document on gradebook directions. And you just click the notebook. I might say classroom schedule. Okay. And it put it in my classroom schedule tab, but it automatically named it Printout. Well, that's not a very descriptive name, so I'm going to right click to rename it Grade Book Directions. Another example of something that I might, and you could do this with a Word document. You could go to File and Print just like you would for a Word document, but instead of sending it to a printer, send it to OneNote. But another thing I want to show you is how you can print a parent email. From time to time, parents might email you, and it's nice to have that email saved in a section in your OneNote notebook. And if you recall, in the 15-16 school year notebook, we created a section group for students. I've got the email open. I want to come up here to the print icon. And if it's not set to send to OneNote, and yours probably won't be, it's probably going to be set to a printer in your building. You change it to OneNote by clicking Change, Send to OneNote 16, and then click Print. And it's going to ask you, where do you want to print this? I want to send this to my 15-16 school year notebook in the section group called Students, and I want to put it with Kyle and click OK. And you see the email automatically came in. It gave it the default name of Printout. Right click, name it Email June 28th. Okay. So that's how you can easily print to OneNote. I've shown you a lot of things. As you create your own organizational system, it might change. You might be halfway through creating a notebook and realize that you want to take a section and move it to a different notebook, or you want to create a whole new notebook altogether. Don't forget to take advantage of the move or copy features for sections, for pages. So that's a really good feature that's built into OneNote. You want to make sure you take advantage of that. Now before we finish, I want to show you a little skills checklist that we created that you might want to go down and follow and try on your own, just to see if you can remember how to do some of these tasks. We have a document. It's in document form. We'll be glad to email this to you. You can contact your ITS if you have any other questions or you run into any problems. Thanks, and enjoy using OneNote.